I completely broke the universe.
So guys, the brand new trailer for the Flash movie has just released, and holy crap, this film just couldn't come any sooner. It looks absolutely insane and my excitement for it just absolutely skyrocketed. We have a bunch of new footage to talk about in this video, a lot with Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck's Batman both being so incredibly badass. More with Sasha, Calle, Supergirl, and a bunch more with the two Barry Allens as well. We have two different Flashes in this film, and also we do have the main villain who's not in the trailer, but still we do have a lot of things to talk about. We seem to have a murder mystery, and also we do have other like story Easter eggs that this film has taken inspiration from the comics. So there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, welcome to my trailer breakdown for the Flash movie. Okay, so this trailer kicks off with a monologue of Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, and he talks about losing his parents, and that pain is what drove him into becoming Batman. He mentions that he spent a lifetime trying to right the wrongs of the past, as if fighting crime would bring his parents back, but then he tells Barry, but Barry was literally able to bring his parents back, and we do know that of course the Flash does have the ability to time travel, and hence this is what the film is all about. It's got to do with the Flashpoint comics, where pretty much the concept of time travel, it shows you that it's not really a good thing. So it pretty much involves Barry Allen going back in time and saving his mother from dying. In doing so, he creates an alternate timeline, but then realizes how badly he screwed up, and then in doing so he needs to restore his timeline, but then it only ends up being that the timeline is never going to go back to how it was. Like, it's restored, but there are some changes. That's pretty much the concept of Flashpoint. For those who watch the Flash TV show, you guys would have already seen it pretty much. However, this film is more of an accurate representation of what the Flashpoint comics and just the Flashpoint storyline in general is all about. But yeah, we have a shot of both Barrys entering Michael Keaton's Wayne Manor. Now, what I'm assuming is happening over here is that Barry realizes how badly he screwed up, and he ends up finding his like younger self, and he's assuming that the only person that could help him in this situation is Bruce Wayne, because there isn't really anyone else he can trust because of this timeline he created being so different. So he asks a younger version of himself to take him to Bruce Wayne, only to find out that Bruce Wayne isn't his Bruce Wayne. This is Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, and this is a repercussion of Flashpoint pretty much. That's what I think is going to happen over here. However, I could be wrong. But yeah, we do also have a shot of Bruce touching like a photo of him as a child, still just further highlighting how traumatized he was from that night in the alleyway. And we do have like the reveal of the Batcave and just like a bunch of bat suits, one of which we know the younger version of Barry is going to end up modifying to end up creating his like prototype Flash costume. And then we do see that this Bruce Wayne, he does seem to have long hair at the start. Like, he seems lost, broken, and just absolutely wasted. And that makes sense because he's been Batman for a very, very long time, and you can pretty much tell from that. But yeah, in like other shots in the trailer, however, we do see him with shorter hair eventually, so he does end up cutting it and just pretty much ends up being Batman again. Now, we do then have a dialogue from someone, I'm pretty sure this is Kara, and she says, I can't imagine what you've been through. You lost both parents in one day. And the thing about this quote is it's very relatable in terms of like the characters for the film. Like Barry, he's seen both of his parents die as a kid. So did Bruce Wayne. The exact same thing happened to him. But with Kara, her whole entire planet got destroyed. Now, I don't know if they will use that origin story for Kara in this film because this is Flashpoint, so it might be a bit different. However, we know like Supergirl's original origin is that she sees her whole planet actually getting destroyed right in front of her. And if that's what they take into this film as well, this feeling of loss, it's a very relatable thing for all of these characters. And I'm just very interested to see how their like, interactions and dynamics go. And I'm sure it's going to be absolutely amazing just seeing them three interacting with one another. But yeah, next up we do have child Barry pretty much like playing around with his mom, and then we pretty much have a shot after that of Nora Allen's death, and then Henry Allen shouts, Barry, call 911 now. Now over here we don't really see how Nora Allen gets murdered, and I don't know how we will see it in the film, but it seems like they will be establishing some sort of like a murder mystery in some way where Barry doesn't really know how it happened. Like, for example, in the Flash TV show, we do see Barry literally seeing traces of lightning with the Reverse Flash and the Flash fighting each other in that night. However, it seems like it's going to be different. It seems like Barry like goes home and just he sees his mother dead and Henry Allen just with her. That's what I'm assuming they're going to do over here. So it's going to be this like murder mystery thing where maybe by the end of the film or like as a post-credit scene, Barry actually finds out who murdered his mother, and that's going to end up being Reverse Flash. Because in this film, they're not using Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash isn't going to be the main villain in this movie, which is quite odd, saying that it doesn't really make sense to not use Reverse Flash in the first film, and this is a Flash film, so it would have made more sense if they used like the main villain of the Flash. But we do have Dark Flash in this film, which is going to be like an alternate timeline future version of Barry or something like that. So I am interested to see how that will go. He's going to pretty much be more like Savitar. It will be interesting to see, however, if we do end up getting some sort of Reverse Flash murder mystery where by the end of the film Barry does actually find out that there was someone, more specifically a speedster in yellow, that was responsible for his mother's murder, and that obviously sets up Reverse Flash for the future. They could do something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Now, next up, we do have a new shot of Barry, and this is him running through the Speed Force in his new Flash suit. So he's entering the Speed Force, time traveling to the night of his mother's death, and this is when he obviously creates Flashpoint. This is where he saves his mother from dying. It seems like the running has been fixed as well, because the DCEU Flash, his running was quite weird. It seems like it's fixed, however, it's hard to tell because it's only for like a brief few seconds that we actually see him run. So I can't really comment on that just yet, but obviously another thing that's different is the orange lightning, which we will get into later on in this video. Next up, Barry does talk about how he completely broke the universe when he saved his mother from dying. And this is the whole concept of Flashpoint, as I said, pretty much. In this film, it's going to involve the whole multiverse, not just one single timeline like it is in the comics. So in this, it's going to be more of like a multiversal scale, but as I've explained in the start of this video, he pretty much goes back in time, stops his mother from dying. In doing so, creates an alternate timeline that pretty much makes everything go for the worse. So a lot of things have changed as a result to Barry breaking the timeline, such as him finding his younger self, which doesn't end up being the Flash until later on, and we will talk about that once again later on as well. And also Michael Keaton is now Batman instead of Ben Affleck. And also another change we know as of now as well is that Superman is not around. Instead, we do have Supergirl, and General Zod's plan is escalating once again, and that's obviously a lot of Man of Steel Easter eggs. So General Zod's plan is going to be the exact same one that he had in Man of Steel, just it's going to be with Supergirl instead. Now, we do have a lot more new shots with Sasha Calle's Supergirl as well. We have a shot of her flying off Wayne Manor. This is after she interacts with Barry. I'm guessing this is after Barry saves her from the prison that she's going to be, that government military prison that she's going to be trapped in. And then we do have her saying, "Do you know what this symbol means?" to Barry, in which Barry responds, "Does it mean hope?" And this is pretty much, he knows this because obviously he's interacted with Superman in the original timeline, which obviously Kara doesn't know about this because this is a completely resetted timeline and she's never met any of these people. She thought that she was the only metahuman alive. That's what I think, at least. So then when she interacts with like others like Barry as the Flash and then Batman as well, you know, this would be the first time she would hear or see a mention of any of these people. That's what I'm assuming. So obviously she wouldn't know that Barry would know all of this stuff because it's a completely different timeline and they've never interacted before. But yeah, next up we do have Kara versus Zod instead of Clark versus Zod like it was in the original timeline. So we're just gonna have a bunch of badass Supergirl scenes that I'm really excited to see. And we have Keaton with his iconic line, "Wanna get nuts? Let's get nuts." Next up, this seems to be in the final act of the film where the big Zod's invasion happens and, you know, the big final battle happens pretty much, and we have this incredible shot of the Batwing flying off, but then we have Sasha Calle's Supergirl and the two Flashes fighting off against Zod's invasion. Now obviously what stands out in the shot is the younger version of Barry that we're going to be seeing in this film. He still has blue lightning, whereas our Barry has orange lightning, and like I've explained before, this is not a retcon. I believe that this is actually because our Barry, the suit he's wearing is more like a Speed Force connected suit, so that when he's actually in the suit and uses his abilities, that's when his lightning color changes to pretty much symbolize a better connection to the Speed Force. So I don't think it's a retcon, because if it were a retcon, the other Barry's lightning would also be changed as well, but clearly it's not. So I'm assuming that it's because of the Speed Force suit that Barry's lightning color is actually orange, whereas for the other Barry, obviously that's an interesting suit and he's been getting a lot of crap for it. And this is because this suit is actually like a modified Batman suit. So he takes one of Michael Keaton's Batman suit and modifies it, paints it all red, and just makes it look very Flash-like. Now, this is because I'm assuming he becomes the Flash in this film. So maybe because of what Barry has done, he doesn't really become the Flash. So in this new timeline, this younger Barry, he's not the Flash. He's just normal Barry Allen. And maybe because of that, our Barry, he's losing his abilities as well. And we do have proof of Barry losing his abilities, which we will get into later on in this breakdown as well. But it seems like this younger version of Barry, he doesn't have speedster abilities either until later on in the film, where he does become a speedster. And this explains the blue lightning, which would be like a more newbier experienced speedster. But then also it does explain the prototype suit that he's wearing as well. It's not like a proper Flash suit or anything like that. It's just modified, painted up, and cut up. It's meant to look goofy, and it's not meant to look perfect. That's the whole idea behind this Barry Allen. But this shot, it just looks absolutely incredible. But yeah, next up we have Barry mentioning that he needs to restore the timeline because he realizes how badly he screwed up with creating Flashpoint. And we have this incredible line from Batman, this one being Ben Affleck's Batman this time, who's also in this film. And he says, "These scars we have make us who we are. We're not meant to go back and fix them. Don't let your tragedy define you." And I'm guessing this is what Ben Affleck is doing in regards to trying to talk Barry out of the idea of time traveling towards the start of the film. So he's trying to stop Barry from, going to the past and saving his mother. So I'm guessing Barry has a talk to Bruce Wayne about this first. And then Ben Affleck says this line, and then Barry doesn't follow through with it. He still ends up creating Flashpoint. That's what I think is going to happen, because Ben Affleck's Batman, it seems like his role is only going to be towards the start of the film, and that's it. Now, we do have two shots that really, really caught my attention. We have this shot of Barry, hanging with the Flash suit, and he's just getting absolutely electrocuted. And then next up, we have Barry in an electrocuted chair, the electric chair, and once again, he's getting electrocuted as well. Now, this is why I think Barry loses his abilities. Now, in the comics, Barry does use the electric chair, and he does use Thomas Wayne's Batman's help in the Batcave to get his speed back. Like, they use the electric chair, they use the thunder and everything, but it doesn't end up working. Barry doesn't get his speed back in the first try, and then in the second try, Barry does get his speed back. He does end up becoming the Flash once again, and this is what caught my attention, is the fact that Barry's getting electrocuted the first time with his Flash suit. So that's going to be later on in the film where he actually gets his speed back. But then the other one in the electric chair, that's going to be the first attempt of Barry trying to get his speed back, but it doesn't end up working. He might end up just getting absolutely fried. And we do know that this is in the Batcave from this shot over here. And we do have Sasha, Calle, Supergirl flying Barry up into the sky as well. So this seems like it's going to happen after Barry gets absolutely fried up from the electrocution. That's what I think is going to happen. But after that, we do have a bunch of cool Zod versus Supergirl scenes, and we have a bunch of more sick Batman scenes, both with Michael Keaton as well as Ben Affleck. But yeah, lastly, we do have a Speed Force scene with the two Barrys. They're talking about how no one's going to die, and it's just really cool having both of these characters interacting with one another in the Speed Force. I thought that was really, really cool. And then the very last part with the parachute and the Batwing, and this is what's interesting. If you pay attention over here, it's the younger version of Barry wearing the Flash suit. Now, the way you can tell is because of how excited, how hyped up he is. It seems like this is the first time he's seeing Batman do all of this stuff, whereas our Barry, which is to his right but to our left, he's got short hair and everything, so we know this is our Barry. But also it seems like he doesn't have his powers, and that explains the normal outfit he's wearing, while the younger version of Barry, he's wearing the Flash suit. So this is what explains how this younger version of Barry becomes the Flash in this film. He's very newbie, he's new to all of this. Whereas our Barry, he's more experienced, he's much more calmer in this parachute scene, but also he doesn't have his suit, which does suggest that he does lose his powers. So that is another very interesting point to bring up as well. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. This is pretty much it for this breakdown. So if you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.